we'll start with Donna, if that's okay. And Donna, if you wouldn't mind, stand up here a little bit so that we can hear you and see you, and they can hear you and see you.
Thank you very much, and good evening, everyone. Council, Mr. Mayor. I'm Donna Bellew, and I'm running for Shelby County Circuit Judge, Place 1, and this is an open seat as our Judge Corey Moore became unable to serve again, unfortunately. I've been an attorney serving the citizens of Shelby County for over 24 years, handling a wide variety of state and federal cases. I'm a summa cum laude graduate from UAB with a degree in English, and I graduated from Cumberland School of Law. The law is my life. I've been in the legal field for over 32 years. I started as a file clerk at the age of 18 for a law firm, and I became a legal secretary for 8 years before beginning my practice of law. During my 24 years practicing, I've had the honor of fighting for this. This is the Constitution. They give you these when you go to law school, and I think it's graduate. Actually, the first day that you start law school, they give you one of these. And this is the one that I actually got. It's got some tape on it. It's got some highlights and underlines, and I refer to it often. And it's also the Constitution of Alabama stands right up there with this. But there's 3 things I'd like you to know about me. The first is I believe in a strict interpretation of the Constitution as written and intended by our founding fathers. I'm a conservative. I support the rights and freedoms guaranteed by the Constitution. And I'm a patriot. I have fought for this document, including my own First Amendment free speech case that went as far as the U.S. Supreme Court. My case confirmed that political free speech is to be afforded the highest constitutional protection. The case has been cited hundreds of times throughout the country. I've also fought for the Second Amendment, right to bear arms, the Fifth Amendment, right against the unlawful taking of property, and for the 14th Amendment, right to due process. The Constitution and its principles can be found in any type of legal case. A judge is in the best position to protect rights and freedoms, and the legal process works well when a judge effectively and correctly protects constitutional principles. If I'm elected, I will do that. As an appeals attorney, I have developed a keen sense of how to read and interpret the law, to ascertain its plain meaning, discern legislative intent, and to craft arguments applying the law to the facts of a case. If I'm elected to serve as circuit judge, I will work hard. I will listen to the facts, and I will follow the law. And I will do my duty to uphold the Constitution. On a personal note, I've been married to my husband for over 30 years. We live in Calera. We have one grown son who's a nurse anesthetist, and I never say that right. He's a CRNA and a frontline worker at Shelby Baptist Medical Center. He is married, and I am a brand new grandmother. I would just appreciate your support. I'd appreciate your vote in the May 24th Republican primary. And I thank you very much for allowing me to speak tonight.
Oh, great. Before you sit down, let me ask you to explain something that has been done before here, but I think it's to remind everybody. And then we'll ask Philip maybe to add anything to it if he wants to. Explain for everybody again the difference between circuit judge and district judge. Okay.
The way Shelby County is divided up, we have district court and we have circuit court. District court cases include the small claims court and anything up to $20,000. $20,001 and up circuit court cases, and that's in the civil context. In the criminal context, both courts hear criminal cases. The circuit courts, I know, hear greater felonies, capital murder cases, that type of case where the district court would not. Also, Shelby County's district court has a family court type division. It's not an official division, but there is a judgeship that has the family court at its heart, and that's what Mr. Hackel is running for. Is actually that seat held by Judge Kramer at this moment.
All right, very good. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And the circuit court also does special writs and things that the district court doesn't do, certain types of real estate actions and things that you would not find in the district court.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. Philip, it's all yours, and if you want to add anything to that as far as the explanation of district and circuit.
Oh, you know I will.
Okay.
Thank you for letting me be here tonight. I know y'all are busy, and it's such nice weather outside. My name is Philip A. Hackel. I'm running for the seat that Judge Kramer is going to vacate at the end of his term. There's 5 people on the ballot, Republican ballot, on May 24th, that you'll get the opportunity of voting for who you want as your new juvenile court judge. And thank God, Shelby County, whoever wins that race will be our next judge, because we're all primarily Republicans when it comes to November. So whatever we do in May will determine that. The signs, you'll see a bunch of signs like this. That's my special needs grandson, okay? Because to me, juvenile court, it's all about our children. It's not about anything else. You're not going to see a picture of me sitting around anywhere, because it's not me, it's not my ego. It's about these kids, and that's what it's all about. You know, y'all have seen me here running before, and I've never put as much effort, time, and money in this race as I've done in any other race, because back in 2000, when I had an opportunity of running as a Republican in Jefferson County as a judge, I picked the hardest, the most complicated seat you could run for, and that was juvenile court. Because to me, you could make the biggest difference for our families and our children as a juvenile court judge. I've always told people there's 3 things that you need to look for with a judge. Most people don't. They just look at a sign or whether they like you or not. But really, you should look for experience, you should look for work ethics, and you should look for popularity. Experience-wise, even though the other attorneys running are good folks, I've got 41 years as an attorney, and I've also served 6 years as a judge. I'm also listed on the state's registry as a private judge for the dispute resolution. So I still have that title, even though some people are questioning whether I could do that. But you know, I put elect, I don't put re-elect, I don't put vote, because I know I'm not sitting as a judge officially 24/7. The other people have experience ranging from 14 years to 24 years. Does that mean they're not as qualified? In my opinion, yes, they're not as qualified. If I'm taking someone's child away from them, I want somebody that's, I guess I hate to put it this way, old and fat like I am, that's had the experience and know what it's all about. Because I think I can live with that closer than somebody that may have had 14 or 20 or 24 years. I work every day when I was in Jefferson County as a judge. I even went to work nights and weekends, because I realized in order for me to do what I was elected to do, and that is to help these families, I had to read everything. So I did. I read everything. I was ready for court as a judge when you came in, and I didn't have you waste your time telling me what you already filed. I'd already listened to it, read it, and anything new, then I wanted to hear it, and then I made a decision and ruled accordingly. When it comes to popularity, I'm not talking about the popularity like a movie star. I'm talking about people were happy that I was sitting on the bench, because if you came in front of me, you actually got to come into the courtroom and see me, and I explained to you what I expected from you and your family. And if you didn't do what you're supposed to do, they got to see a man with a badge on it and go to jail for a few days because I held them in contempt to get their attention. It changed people drastically. So that's critical when we're talking about making a change in our community. One thing that Judge Bostic said when he talked about these new judgeships, and it's unheard of in Shelby County that we've got this many openings as judges, is that he wants people that are going to work. He said he knows that Donna will work. He knows that I'll work, because we do it every day now. We don't have to say we will work. We do it, okay? And what I'm asking each and every one of you is, when you go to the ballot on May 24th and you look at the names, you may see signs everywhere, but think about it, talk to your friends and neighbors about it, and say, we want somebody that we can be proud of, that we know will be in that courtroom every day, that will be here and do their job. And I know I commit myself to the community of saying, that's what you'll get. And I'm not talking about having people in court after 5 o'clock, hearing cases of 9, 10, 11 o'clock, like happening now. No problem, that's the way Judge Kramer likes it, but that's not the way I operated. I stopped court at 4 or 5. I did my job as a judge so I could have people in and out, and I moved cases along. And that's what we're looking for. So I'm asking for your prayers, I'm asking for your votes, and I'm asking you to remember Philip A. Hackel on May 24th. And if you can't remember me, think about the guy with the little child on the card, because if you read the Birmingham Christian Magazine, you'll see articles about me and the other candidates, and you'll see what I put at the title was, it's about our children. So To answer your question about the difference between circuit and district judge, both of them are countywide races. Statewide, the state of Alabama is looking at moving to where they don't really distinguish between the two anymore. And if you're elected as a district court judge, you could be appointed to handle circuit and district court cases, and so you're officially handling both type of cases. It's basically old school separation that they're trying to get away from. The state loves it because they pay district judges a little bit less than circuit judges, but they're moving away from that now. We're supposed to be handling all types of cases. And that's what they want, so that we can be more efficient as judges. And so what Donna said was correct, but I'm just telling you what the future looks like because they're moving away from that. Judge Bostic said even though Judge Kramer's position has been primarily a juvenile court position, he's going to rearrange caseloads so that we can handle different type of cases based on our experience level. And he said, you've been doing this 41 years, you can do anything. And I said, you're right. And so we'll let you do basically anything, and we know you'll do it. You'll do a good job at it. And he said the same thing about Donna. She's a scholar. She likes to read and write and do things, and he knows that she could do the same thing. And I say that about her because I know I've looked at the candidates, and I know she'll do an excellent job for the county. Do you have any other questions?
No.
And I know it's not politically correct to endorse or talk about other candidates, but you know, you're here to make a decision based on what's best for the county. And I know y'all are committed to that, otherwise you wouldn't be taking your time up here doing this.
All right, thank you. All right, Matt. Matt Casey's running for district attorney, so you guys are probably going to see him in court.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Matt Casey. I am running for Shelby County District Attorney. Our current DA, Jill Lee, is not seeking re-election, but she is endorsing me, and I'm very honored that she's doing that. I've been a deputy DA in Jefferson County for 14 years, and in that 14 years, I've been the lead trial attorney on thousands of felony cases. Lead trial attorney on hundreds of felony cases, but I've handled thousands of felony charges. They don't all go to trial. I've handled capital murder cases. I've handled trafficking fentanyl, trafficking heroin, trafficking cocaine. I've handled burglaries, attempted murders, discharging firearms in occupied dwellings or cars. Jefferson County keeps the DA pretty busy. I'm a prosecutor. That's what I do. That's all I've done my entire professional career. It's what I want to do where I live, in my home. I'm married to Dr. Emily Casey. She's a physician with Andrews Sports Medicine. She's the team physician for Pelham High School and Spain Park High School. I have 2 daughters in the Oak Mountain community. A prosecutor, ladies and gentlemen, we do criminal cases. So we do a very extremely small amount of civil cases that the part of the office is required to handle. But for the most part, it's strictly criminal cases. I am also proud to tell you I have the support of Sheriff John Samaniego. I have the support of our retired Sheriff Chris Curry. I think that's because of my 14 years of experience. They've gotten to know me on a personal level. I guess they feel like I'm the right person for the job. So I am running in the same election May 24th. There is no Democrat running in for Shelby County District Attorney, so whoever wins May 24th will be our next District Attorney. And I would certainly appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Mr. Casey, I've got a question.
Yes.
And I just for my benefit. So you live in Shelby County.
Correct.
But you can serve as the DA in any county?
Well, just to be clear, I'm a deputy DA
Deputy,
in Jefferson.
okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, there is an elected DA of Jefferson County. I was hired by Brandon Falls, who was a Republican at the time in 2008.
Okay.
I've been there ever since. Danny Carr is the current DA, and I work under Danny now.
So the deputy's not elected, he's basically appointed or hired?
Correct. There's actually 44 deputy DAs in Jefferson County and 1 elected. And
Okay.
Shelby has about, I think, 10 deputy DAs in Shelby County.
Okay.
And Jill is our elected DA here.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
That's a good question. So, as Matt and the other candidates indicated, the primary election is the 24th of May. Now, some of us went to a luncheon last week with Congressman Gary Palmer, and he brought up a factoid, I guess, that's a little bit disturbing. Texas held their primary elections on the 1st of March, and less than 18% of registered voters in the state of Texas turned out for that election. And I think Congressman Palmer attributed it to 2 primary things, and I think they're legitimate. One of them is just the fact that it's a primary. Texas, like Alabama, and like many, many states, you can vote in one primary. You can vote Republican or you can vote Democrat, but you cannot vote in both. And so if you are an independent or you wanted to split your vote, you don't get the option to do that, and I think that may discourage some people. The other one deals with redistricting, where maybe people sometimes feel like that their district is structured in such a way that maybe it favors one party or the other, and therefore their vote doesn't matter. But what I'm trying to get to is your vote does matter. I hope we in Alabama do get out and vote. And yes, it's not perfect. You may not necessarily be able to vote for everybody that you like, but pick the primary, if you will, that best matches or suits your desires and your goals, and please do vote, because eventually, many of those candidates are going to be that come through the primary process are the ones that you're going to have to vote for in the general election. So you certainly like to have an opportunity to have a say in who those folks are. So, okay, all right. So now we're ready to go on to the department reports. So, talk to Chief Bowers.
Okay, so everything's good in the police department. We still got one out on back injury. He had surgery a couple months ago and is still recovering. We hope to get him back on the road here within at least, hopefully by the middle of May. Budget's good, personnel's great. Still waiting on a new vehicle to come in. It could be another 3 or 4 weeks before they even get it here. Getting vehicles is ridiculous. Highlights, of course, we want to welcome Officer Simpson. And then still issues and concerns are the speeding at Highway Depot, at 25 Depot Street. Still watching that real closely, so everybody slow down for officers doing school traffic. Besides that, everything's great. Our reports as far as deaths and things like that have gone down. We're not seeing as much as far as petty deaths in the Dollar Generals and the Dollar Tree and things like that. So I think having these extra officers on the street doing the DECA deters a lot of that. So we're really proud of it.
Update on Officer Mavis?
Yeah, he's the one that got injured at Christmas. So actually, on Christmas night, he answered a call and actually got into a fight.
Right. So, again, how's he doing?
He's recovering. He's the one that had the back surgery. And so he's been released by workman's comp to be able to come to light duty.
Okay.
But he's still having some issues with his back. Things are just not healing like they want to, and so he's going back to see if they can correct it. So we hope to get him back, hopefully by the first, maybe middle of May.
Okay.
I was going to say the new officer, you remind me of an old assistant coach of mine that used to coach me. Yeah. In case he left, I was going to ask him, so we don't know if he.
Is that a new body cam, Chief?
This is some of the ones that we purchased at the first of the year.
Okay. Looks good.
Any other questions for the chief? All right. Admin.
Everything is going good with admin. Year-to-date revenues are up, expenses are down. I have clerk training next week, at the end of next week. The bottom graph, the very top section is the general fund overall, and then the bottom section is all other funds. And with those, revenues are up and expenses are down, so budget's good.
Yeah, we have healthy surpluses in both of those, and a lot of that is due to the timing of some of the planned expenses that we've got in this budget. So I still think it's in good shape. So, any other questions for the clerk? The court. Speaking of judges.
Any of the lawyers in the room, I have the strangest
It's the most attorneys.
I'm running home and eating supper. Everything, we're not going to change much. The arrows are pretty much consistent. I don't know why. Chief and I talked about it today. Possibly the ADECA money, possibly because they're fully staffed, I think, maybe for the first time. We had the largest court we've had since COVID this past week. And the defendants, and we are a criminal court. We handle no civil cases at all. So the people that are here are generally not happy to begin with because they are run into the criminal system. But we had a lot of people here. It took us a long time to do it. The first time it took us over 3 hours to do court. And so I don't have an explanation for that other than the fact that we're fully staffed and COVID is kind of, that excuse is kind of over. And people are coming back and we're allowing them to catch up. Reviewed our budget through January 1 today with the city clerk. And we too, our collections are up and our expenses are slightly down from where our budget was. It is amazing to me, the kiosk that we have, it is amazing to me what that does. I mean, for somebody to be able to come in and put the last three letters of their name in that machine, and it pulls up all the information, and they can swipe their credit card and make their payments, and we still take partial payments, fine, is really helped our collections. Everybody knows Lisa and Terry. I mean, Terry's been around. She's unfortunately married to this thing right here. But anyway, she's now working for the city. And Lisa had been a dispatcher, and they're now finished their magistrate school. In Alabama, you can be a magistrate simply being sworn as a magistrate. They have now completed their training, and I understand we'll get your certificates in the next. Hopefully soon you'll have your certificates. But they are both learning, and they're doing a good job. I was really concerned because I have been fortunate. I've been doing this 41 years now. I've been fortunate. I've had great magistrates. I've had great court clerks that made my life easy. And I was concerned that we were going to have a complete turnover. We lost two good ones just back to back. And both of them have come in and are doing a really good job. And again, from a judge's standpoint, a clerk can make you or break you, okay? And it can make your life miserable, or it can make your life quite easy. And the cases are flowing well. We're still having a problem, people not showing up. We're still having a problem of once we set a plan for somebody to pay, they don't come and pay on time. But we're working through those issues, and those issues have been around forever. I went to a judges conference a couple of weeks ago. Actually, was the second oldest guy in the room, which was a little depressing. But anyway, the municipal court, we are evolving. We continue to evolve. And we'll have court on the 26th. We have two courts. We have plea day and trial day. Plea day is by far the first court day of the month. By far, always has been the largest. That's what we had. We were here for 3 hours, and that's a very long court for us. But I'm glad to have these two. They come in, they take care of the paperwork, and it's working really well. They both picked it up faster than I had anticipated, quite frankly. But because it's a lot to take in when you go from not having a lot of experience with the judicial system, criminal system, and you come in and all of a sudden you are a sworn judicial officer. Because a magistrate can do a lot. I mean, there are a lot of cases a magistrate can deal with and take pleas on, that sort of thing, before it gets to me. But other than that, everything's running along pretty smoothly. There's not a lot of difference. I mean, it's pretty well. I think COVID getting over it has helped.
Okay, well, I too want to congratulate Lisa and Terry. We appreciate their effort in getting the certifications and the job that they're doing for you. Anyone else have any questions or comments for the judge? All right, thanks.
And by the way, I will not be on the ballot.
I know how you get your job. All right. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Everything's running pretty good in public works and stuff. We're still, budget's still running fine and stuff, the way we've got it laid out and stuff. We're currently waiting on our new brush truck to get here, cause our old brush truck is decided it was through picking brush up and the motor went out in it. But it's a 93 model, so probably got 400,000 miles on it. Other than that, they're starting to be busy cutting grass and weed eating and trying to keep the cemetery cleaned up with the help we've got and everything. They're working some overtime just to get it done and everything, just instead of letting it just go and get into a mess and everything. But other than that, everything's running fine.
So, have you already ordering some pickup trucks? Have you already ordered some?
We ordered the brush truck back last
Right.
October in the budget and stuff, and I talked to him the other day, and it was the truck chassis was supposed to be on the yard the 28th, and they told me it takes 60 days to put the equipment on it. So now we're using mini X with a thumb on it, going around picking up brush. It takes a lot longer and stuff, and don't clean it up as well.
But your note about the 3/4 tons for sanitation, are you?
Oh, that's what we've always had that. That's been up there that we didn't ever find one and everything.
Okay, so you're not in desperate need for
No.
one of those?
Okay.
Okay. And is this a used truck or a new truck you're getting?
That would have been a used truck that would have been put out on the garbage.
The brush truck?
The brush truck is new.
Good. Okay. I'm sorry. Any other questions for Public Works?
Yes, the update on the fountain.
We have got about 3 different companies hunting the pump for it. I talked to all of them today, and they're like everything else. Every time when they order it, it's with their baking coffees. There's one company, and a man's calling another company just to see if there's something they can do for us to get it. But there's one company that handles that pump, and it's in the state of Florida. And we had one, and it was supposed to be shipped, and they tested it, and there's something wrong with it, and they wouldn't send it. So now they've got it back online, down there redoing it before they send it to us. It's like anything else in the order, it's their mercy. But I don't know how many times I get asked a week about the red light pole cover down there, and I've had it around that pole down. I know I've had it ordered for over a year.
Is there no possibility you could use a different kind of pump?
Not the way that thing's designed. So I got Dale's man that does their sewer pumps come out there and he said, you stuck with that spec pump, it's strictly a pool pump.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thanks. All right, board reports. We will start with the Planning Commission. So, did you have anything you wanted to say about the commission before we turn it over to Amy?
We had a meeting Thursday night, and we did the rezoning for the golf course because it was originally RSD, which is Residential Special District, but it was only that as long as it was a golf course. And now that the golf course is closed, the city rezoned it, and we approved it to be R1, which is residential. So that will come before council on the May 19th, I think. It'll be the second meeting in May.
17th.
17th, okay. And that's when council will vote on the rezoning
Of the golf course.
of the golf course. And then Amy Dixon would like to give council, and I emailed this out to everybody if y'all got the email today.
We did.
Okay. So she emailed y'all this. This is just a brief summary of what we've been working on. Back in 2016, we had our comprehensive plan redone, and it is now currently outdated as well and needs to be redone again. But after a comprehensive plan was done, we had hoped to get the funding to redo our zoning ordinances, which were written back in 1958. And there's a lot of things in them that are really outdated and unusable. And the people who have to make daily decisions based off of our zoning ordinances, to make decisions for builders in our city, a lot of information is just kind of missing and not there. So we took it upon ourselves to start rewriting our zoning ordinances since there wasn't funding there to go through a professional company to do that. And we have spent a year and a half researching the cities around us and researching, like talking to other planning and zoning commissions and driving through different cities and driving through neighborhoods and seeing what we liked and what we didn't like. And so we've finally gotten to a point where we have rewritten what we think is a good starting point for this. And we're having a planning session on Tuesday, the 26th at 5 o'clock. And we would like to invite all of you to come and give your feedback. We would love to share with you what we've researched and what we have come up with as a good game plan. And get your feedback if y'all would like to see changes, if you're happy with or not happy with the direction we're going. Because we've reached a point now where we can give it to the city attorney and let him look through it and hopefully present it to city council for a vote coming up, like whether or not we want to adopt it or not adopt it, make changes on it. So before we present it to the attorney and take his time, we really would like feedback on if you agree with, disagree with, would like to make changes to, have opinions about. A lot of the surrounding cities, their zoning ordinances are way more detailed than what ours are. If we had a professional company come in and do it, we would probably consider going down the road of the detail level that they have considered with PUDs and all kinds of different zones. But what we've mainly focused on is the current zones that we have and making changes to them, adding things to it, adding more detail to it, to the current zones that we currently have, since we're not a professional company that does this. So that's what our main focus has been on. But we really would love to have y'all at our planning session so that we could get more input from you guys before we present it to the attorney.
Okay. I would also like to encourage everybody to attend the Planning Commission meeting, and they are public meetings, so anybody is invited to those meetings as well. So since Amy has invited and I've seconded that invitation, and it gets out here.
This one is a special one. It's not a normally planned one, but it's kind of just a work session. But
since it's out there now on YouTube, hopefully people will see it and we'll have a big crowd.
Can we read the minutes and stuff?
For the planning session, we don't really take minutes, but you can read the minutes from our regular meetings. But I would be happy to. I'd be happy to share with you what we've worked on and let you read the documents and share your opinions. I'd be happy to share that with you. Because we really we've invited the whole city several times, like trying to get input from what the city wants, because we don't want to do anything against the will of the city, obviously. So, but we're limited based off of the people who show up and what the research we've done. So.
Any other questions for Amy?
No, but I'd like to say that this board has actually worked extra hard on what they have already accomplished. So we need everybody that can and will to stand behind them, because they do want input and we do want people to be involved. Because once they've gone that far, they've done all that work. You don't want to mess up where they've come. They've put too much effort into it.
Well, and the mayor has put aside a budget for redoing the comprehensive plan.
Mm-hmm.
And so that will be redone hopefully in a year or so. Hopefully that will be redone. And so that's what we'll focus on once we get that going. But that, for the work that we've done up to this point, we would really like to implement some things. There's been lots and lots of amendments made since 1958, but nothing that adds the teeth to it that you need to be able to make decisions for things such as the Dollar General coming in, and when that happened, there was nothing in the zoning ordinances that said anything about the facade and the way it looked, and the previous mayor went to them and really had to fight to get anything, because there was just nothing in the zoning ordinances that made them meet the requirements that we would like to see them meet to be in the city of Columbiana. And so that's what we're working towards, so that there's a legal document to stand on when you have to make choices with big companies that come in and want to build something, but they don't have to meet your regulations because there are none. They don't have to make things look pretty or have, the parking is important, and the off-street parking, and the way it has setbacks, and the facade of the way we want Columbiana to look. So.
Any other questions, comments? Thanks, Amy. Recreation Board.
Well, we haven't met. We will meet the 9th of May, but I do have some things to share with council, and I do need some input and some guidance on some things. So, just give you a little history. For a few years now, I've said that we need new ballpark lighting at all of our complexes, all our athletic fields. And just give you a little color around that. We've had some issues at Bolton Field for a long time. Alan has spent a lot of time down there. I've been fielding calls down there. But we got an electrician go out there, I guess 2 weeks ago, and basically he told us our units down there are basically beyond repair. I'm 42 years old. They've been down there longer than I have, and so he said that there's really no use or no way of fixing those. The other thing too, they're wired for 120 volts. So for as long as I've known, the city's been paying a hefty electricity bill just on that field. So after we got the grant for with the county, the park and rec grant with the county, I engaged some of my friends at the county, some decision makers over there, just really going into a high level meeting, saying, "Hey, this is some things that I'd like to do for my district and for the city to see if they may be able to help." So they asked me the question, where are your sticky points and where are the things you need help like right now? And the first thing I told them was we need new ballpark lighting. It's coming at an opportune time. So we had the conversation. The county went down a path, and they've engaged. They've got all this study, and I've got PDFs I can give the council too of all these diagrams and stuff. So they went to a company called Musco Lighting. Musco Lighting is a premier LED lighting company in the country. If you've been familiar with Auburn, Alabama, even some of these big high schools now, all these LED twinkling lights you see now is Musco Lighting. So it's the premier cream of the crop type of lighting. They went down the path with Musco. I talked to Musco on a conference call with them, and they basically walked us through with my input and saying, okay, what are you looking for? And basically, in theory, I told them the first step will be get the girls' softball fields relit to standard of play. They said, okay. So we got on a conversation with them. I was on a conference call with Musco. They asked what the specs are. They came in, and the county engineer over facilities sort of ran point on it. Musco was here. They looked at it. County engineer did some specs and diagrams. And what this PDF document is Bolton and Lewis Fields. And what they would do in a nutshell, they would basically, on Bolton Field, they would wipe every light pole there. Those would be gone. And based on the diagrams, they would put in 4 new posts there. They would use the existing poles at Lewis Field and basically put new fixtures up there. While we were going through this conversation, I know that we, with all these halogen lights, we have halogen lights on the tennis courts as well. So I asked them if they can include in the plan on the back side of one of those poles on Lewis Field to project new LED lighting on the tennis courts as well. So they've included that on this too. So we went through all that process. The county presented a plan, and I presented that at a high level to council. I told council that I was treating it sort of as a grant opportunity. So if you've got 100% funding, the city's input will basically be 3% investment on the project. And what that would consist of, that would get all new lighting. So you have top tier lighting where if you're involved at a sporting event that's on TV, maybe it's got to be at 100%, let's say 100 lumens or whatever. Well, to be qualified for high school athletics, youth sports athletics, there's a certification there, so maybe like 80. So they have what's the word I'm looking for? They've priced this at that 80% price point. So it is eligible for high school and youth activities. It'll be a lot brighter than what we got today. It'll be app controlled to where that'll be secure. We can monitor the usage. But the other thing, too, outside of just the small minimal cost to get these new systems, is that it takes us, and I'm not an electrician, so it takes us from 120 volts to probably, what, Al? I don't know. Yeah. So it basically decreases that usage by half. Basically, the city's cost in this will be about $20,000. So what I need really from council tonight, they haven't had, all these documents are done. They've already engaged an electrician to do the work. So we just need them to give, as a city, we need to give them the go-ahead to say, hey, we want to proceed down this path so they can get supplies ordered. I think supplies are on a 6 to 8 week lead time. So after girls softball gets done, the plan is as soon as those supplies are in, they can get to it and be done by the fall. So I guess from council's perspective, I talked to Kevin Morris yesterday, and I told him that I would give him a preliminary yay or nay, and then we'd have pre-construction meetings with the city and with Alan, and all that.
Is the county gonna contract with?
Yes.
The contractor to do the lighting?
Yes.
And then they would bill us for the 20,000 or
Yes.
whatever.
So basically, at a high level, this would be a county project with the city partnering with that, with Allen's group partnering with that. So they've already engaged. Like I have invoices here that they've engaged with the company is up in Dora, Alabama, that will be doing the installation. So
Timing. Does anybody have any idea, ballpark, about the timing of when this work would potentially begin?
Well, I told them, so Trey Gann over there at the county asked me just the timeline on when they'd be done. So I talked to softball. By the end of May, mid-June, they'll be wrapped up. So the sooner we can give them a go-ahead of, hey, we're going to do this project, they can order supplies basically tomorrow, and they have to sit on site. As soon as softball's done, they can arrange that to be put up next.
Now, one of the softball parents had contacted me with a concern about the lighting on Bolton, and had, in his opinion, the outfield corner out towards the pool, I guess that would be left field, was the lighting was, in his words, dangerous. Now, I'm no lighting expert. I rode out there and looked at both fields. I think the night after, he contacted me, and it seemed to be okay. I mean, I didn't think it was dangerous. Right. It could clearly be better. But in your opinion, as the chairman of the rec board, is it dangerous? I mean, how do we know? What determines whether or not the lighting is minimally adequate?
I feel better that it's not high school age girls playing on that field at night. I mean, the head softball coach is down here. From a play standpoint, I think from the kids that are playing on that field, I think it's safe for play to this point. Now, as you get older and more balls are hitting in that alley, into the outfield, I think you get in those darker spots as you get deeper into that field. So I don't think it's a hazard per se right now, but I think if you have Ashley and his team from a high school level, I think it would be a concern at that point if you're playing it dark. I've seen the lights too. There's potential for it to be brighter, obviously, but I don't think at this point it's deemed dangerous simply because of the activity that's being played there right now. I think.
Do they think the new lights will take care of that?
Oh, absolutely. These new lights would light up like a concert.
And there's some dark spots, no doubt.
Yeah, and actually I'll give you these. You can look at sprays, and like you can see the darkest, and they show you the darkest and the brightest spots on the field, and they rate them by numbers, going from 43 to 16, and 16 being the furthest back toward the batting cage. So he told me, because I asked him based on what the lighting is there now, how much brighter we can expect that they would be, and he told me 2 to 3 times brighter with this new system. So to answer your question, I don't think, based on the ages that are being played there right now, I don't deem it unplayable, but it could always be brighter.
So clearly, those fields belong to the city. They're the city's responsibility. And if someone raises the issue to me that they're unsafe, I don't think I can ignore that.
Sure.
But I don't know what constitutes
Right.
safe when it comes to lighting. I did a little Google search since you do everything to, and found what the lighting requirements were by the Little League Baseball Association of America. And for outfield, it's like 30 lumens, but it's also has a lot of technical stuff about the positioning of the lights. And the infield, it was brighter than that.
Right.
Which I don't, I couldn't give you the technical explanation of what a lumen is, but I thought that sounded kind of low to me.
So if you look at, I don't mean to cut you off, so if you look at this infield diagram for Bolton right now, it goes from 43 at the highest, and now the whole infield is from 43 to 36, 38, 29, 36.
Is that now?
No, this is new. It would be the new. And so those numbers probably are lumens that you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, so the Little League said 30 for, I believe, 30 for the outfield and 50 for the infield.
And I think based on what he's telling me, if that's a certification for Little League, it's certification for high school too, because once you get up to them, because years ago when I asked them to price it, the guy told me he priced it at that top tier TV level, and he said it was just way over cost.
All right, so one last thing. I would like to ask you to try to find out if there's some way that we can ascertain that the Bolton field is safe.
Okay.
If we deem that the outfield lighting is unsafe, is it possible to reschedule the girls' softball to where all the games would be played at Lewis or other fields?
Sure. I mean, we can work through that, surely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I think we need to do. I think we should take safety should be paramount, and we should. I don't know. I'm sure we can hire somebody for not too much to go out and do a test of what elimination check.
Yeah.
If it's found to be unsafe, if my field's not being used, they can use mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the point is we need a solution.
Yeah.
Now, one more thing. I apologize, but this is important. Alan, you had looked into the repair of the lighting at Lewis and also some other lighting upgrade plans. What was the total cost that you were looking at for those two projects?
Both field, just a rough cost to replace the wire on the poles up top. We took pictures of it. You can't even touch the wire on the pole without the coat falling off of it and everything. You're looking between $8,000 to $10,000 just in material and stuff.
Not labor.
Not labor. It's just material, and you still got old lights that just wore out and burn it out, and you can't find balances for the ones at Bolton. Louisville, we had 12 lights out of there on different poles and stuff, and they've got some balances, and it's out up there and everything. And we've ordered them, but we're gonna put these new lights up. I'm gonna
Okay, so we've ordered ballast for
order
Lewis.
that there before we know we can, but if we not,
What
we're
do
gonna
you-
replace the lights, and I'm gonna just send them back and not waste.
So do you recall the cost of?
12 hours is $2,400 just for the parts.
Okay, so it's parts to upgrade. So we've got about $12,000 to $13,000 in material plus
And
labor.
the labor and stuff, you'll have probably right at $20,000.
So we're going to end up, and to the point, that's where it's getting. We're going to end up spending that much anyway,
And still not have
and not have.
These two system market value on these two systems, these fields is $300,000.
To me, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I would say that tell them that. Is there any does anybody else on the council have any concern or issue that they'd like to bring up about it?
Well, and I don't have another concern, but the other challenge is, to his point, at the McDowell Road complex, those are all halogen bulbs up there. So I've asked Musco, at the end of the day, when I roll off this panel up here, I want to have all the alignment in those parts, because I think it serves a lot of different purposes. So I have the estimate for that. So, but that's going to be a bigger a bigger expense at this point that I think we can work to, but at least I have that figure. But based on the parts he's just ordered, I mean, those parts that he ordered would have to be used up there at this point. So there's no reason, I don't guess,
I
to.
don't care how many bugs I've
Yeah.
got in stock now, cause
Yeah.
they just burn out.
Yeah.
And stuff that can be used up there till we do something up
Yeah.
there. And you're gonna, the light bill, you see a tremendous saving in electrical bill with these LED lights versus these 1,500 watt halogen bulbs.
And just from a safety standpoint, I haven't got that depth in there, but from what I understand, some of these poles and these lighting systems, the fixtures actually come down on the pole, and you don't have to climb up to fix them.
And the lights we're taking down up there, unless we make some kind of deal we can, we can put them on line and sell them.
Yep.
Somebody that just don't have nothing, no words, we buy them to put them up.
But I think it's a premier opportunity for the city.
Yeah, because now.
Almost too good to be
Now
true.
they have to cancel the games, because the light didn't work on that.
Yeah, that's, the voting fields still runs off an oil switch down there, and if it don't, if that oil switch don't work,